So the next one is from King Walsh. Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega is boring. Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega again is boring. First of all, F the critics. I love the Jericho interview, and I hope this talk about Kevin Nash coming on the show is true. Kevin Nash is coming on our show? Did we talk about that?
No. I think someone asked me on the show about having more guests from the 90s and stuff like that, and they asked about Nash, Hall, and X-Pac specifically, and I said, they've all done this show. X-Pac is the most recent one, but it was a couple of years ago. And I said, I try to get Nash every now and then, but I never said that we're having him. I do try when I think of it, you know?
Yeah, I loved you guys in WCW, so I can't wait to hear that interview. So speaking of Jericho, he's in AEW, and they're redoing the Moxley versus Omega. To me, this is not a good sign at all. The match will likely be great, don't get me wrong, but considering the AEW are barely 1 year old, is it a really good sign to redoing storylines already? WWE critics are bashing them doing Orton versus Wyatt again, so how come AEW skates by on this? Omega versus Moxley didn't draw the first time around, so the logic of doing it again is stupid. To me, every day that Brian Cage isn't being pushed as AEW champion is another wasted day. Plus, you should bring that wife of his in. She's hotter than any of the chicks in wrestling today. Number one, Brian Cage could be the AEW champion if he would start working like an AEW champion would work, which is not selling as much for all these guys' offense, which he's been doing on a regular basis, which is not. He's been doing, you know what? Brian.
He's too unselfish, man. Brian's
way too unselfish. Just not a selfish bone in his body.
Because that's how he is in real life. Because you know him,
right? And it's hurting his on-screen character because he looks like he should be kicking the shit out of
on-screen characters. Brian, because I know he listens every now and then. Brian, your on-screen character, you're a heel. Be selfish.
Yeah.
Just do, like we said on the show, if you're going to carry that FTW belt, then just do what Taz did. Beat the out of guys in 3 minutes.
Yeah, and he needs to quit doing the leg slapping. He just like we talked about him before. He does too many of the spots of the guys he's working with that just does their spots. When you realize, like, okay, if we're doing the spot and it comes to a point where I'm supposed to bump, it's like my character would not bump here because I'm too big and you're not. I'm too strong for you.
No, this is what I want to see him do. I want to see him turn on them, turn on Taz, take his belt, throw it up on the roof somewhere, and tell him to take the you title with him, destroy Hobbs, destroy Starks, and get the out of that. It's doing nothing for him.
Right. So speaking of Omega Moxley, it'll do. They'll draw a good number when they have that. When's that match? 2 weeks? Next week or something?
That'll do a good number. It's next Wednesday night. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll do a good number on that because they're two of their
biggest stars,
supposed top guys. But the way they booked this has been just weird.
It has been weird, and the promos by Omega have not been good, which hasn't. That thing they did last week to promote this match was terrible.
Yeah, were awful. And bro, the AEW, like I said, that was the worst contract signing because like everybody's getting beat up in the back on AEW and nobody knows who's doing it. You know, it's like they did a beat up in the back angle twice on the same show, and I remember because the girl beat up Brandy and I don't know, just you know, whatever. I mean, Kenny Omega. He just needs to go back to the New Japan look and get Go ahead.
Well, I thought the one thing I will say about this segment, at least Kenny looked good in a suit, you know, and he looked like a star. He didn't look like he was just
looked like a guy that should be fighting for the championship.
Right. Sometimes he comes out dressed like he just played a game of pickup basketball, like in front of his house,
or play a video game. You know?
Right. And bro, I want you to see this. You know that I said it on the Patreon, but obviously you weren't there. You know that girl that was stumping a mud hole in Brandy the other day?
Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
Did you see the picture of her in that red swimsuit?
The picture of her?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Is there a picture online of her?
Go, tell them what it is. Go to Twitter.
Pull it up right now.
Yeah, that's incredible, bro.
No, she's serious. Oh, she's super hot.
Yeah, she's cut too.
Look at the physique. Look at her abs. Look at her legs.
Right, but she's very green.
Yeah,
for TV, you know.
She got mad on a Twitter because some guy she goes, "Who's my competition?" And some guy goes, "The microphone."
She got mad at the guy.
Read what she put, Joe.
A couple of days ago, so let me go back.
I mean, she is doing the weird. She's very green. She's doing the double by poses out there. She's like kind of. But
I just couldn't believe that she says this is her first promo, and they let her out there that long without a safety net at all.
Did they?
And I like how she just came out. Yeah, and I like how she came out there and Cody like, "What are you doing here?" Like, yeah.
So can
anybody just walk into the ring? Go ahead.
So she, of course, that tweet with the swimsuit says, "Tell me who's my competition," and this fan responds, "The microphone." So she goes, "So I'm going to say this once. That was my first time being on the mic, period. I've never had a class to teach me, coaches, or anything. I did that off the muscle, and to be honest, I thought I did it damn good for my first time. So all you fans talking can kiss my balls. Be nice.
Oh, good grief.
Nice. She's going to be
Another
like
one of these-
Lana. She ain't going to be able to take criticism, and we're going to be hearing about her.
Another of the women's revolution. People coming in here talking about her mental health because she's getting people making fun of her on Twitter because she didn't cut a good promo. But here's what she did too. She's doing this beatdown, and she was looking back at the camera, which is another green move. But she's bro, they're putting people that are just too green for TV right now. It's just crazy.